Hey, folks, we've spent this series talking with people who are still in the program. Today, we're going to close the loop. My guest is Dr. Jessica Cabeen. She's principal of the Alternative Program for Austin Public Schools in Minnesota, overseeing the Austin Learning Center, the Austin Online Academy, and most of everything in the Austin universe. She's back-to-back Minnesota principal of the year, national principal of the year, 6-time author. Can we add anything more to that boat? I don't know. And someone who finished her executive doctor education in leadership right here at St. Mary's University of Minnesota. She's not in the middle of this decision, and that's what makes this one quite unique. She's on the other side of it. And what she's done with it since finishing it is exactly why you're going to want to stick around for the next 20 minutes. Before we get into her story, there is a QR code. Jessica, help me. Will you point to it? There it is. Because I'm like, it's right over there. There it is. It's on your screen. If you're even just a little bit curious, okay, we want to pique your interest. There's something pretty significant about this program. Go ahead and scan it. It'll take you straight to the executive EDD page. There's no forms, no pressure, just straight up information. Dr. Cabeen, hi, welcome. So glad you could be with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Before we get into this whole doctor program and all of it, just tell me what's got you really excited right now?
Well, and we kind of talked offline too. As you can see, there's a big poster back
Yes.
here. We're just wrapping up our summer school programming. One of the things I get to do is oversee summer programming K-12. So we're wrapping up today and tomorrow. So I was out visiting sites and got a big poster with my name on it. So I'm like, kid art, you don't get as much kid art in high school as you do back in the day. So it's kind of filling my bucket right now. And just success of seeing almost 25 students graduate this summer from our high school programming too is so exciting to see kids that maybe didn't quite make the threshold of that 4-year, but still had the perseverance to finish strong. So we're going to be celebrating almost 25 graduates tomorrow. We're waiting on 1 or 2 more. So it's been an exciting summer.
You are a results-based leader and certainly a builder of an amazing program that should be scaled across all of the planet. And let's start with scope, because I don't think people realize how much you're actually running right now. You oversee the alternative program, the online academy, credit recovery, PSEO, early middle college enrollment. I'm going to miss a bunch of stuff. Work-based learning programs, probably for hundreds of students, right? Walk me through what a real week looks like for you.
Absolutely. So in the summer, it's really summer programming, making sure all of our K-12 sites are up and running. But as we transition to the school year, which for us will be in another week, I am the proud principal of our Austin Online Academy, which is a free virtual high school for any student in the state of Minnesota's grades 9 through 12. So we go ahead and get kids enrolled. We get them set up for concurrent classes if they want to take college classes. We help them get those schedules rolling, support teachers in an online environment. A lot of our teachers were brick and mortar. So that transition.
Wait, if I still had kiddos at home and they did not want to attend a traditional brick and mortar school right in my community, could they enroll in your
Yes,
online community?
we
Really? So
accept
it's not based upon attendance boundaries?
Nope. And we accept full-time and part-time students. So we'll have students that we call supplemental. So they might take 3 classes at their brick and mortar high school and then take a couple with us just based upon their schedules, the flexibility, the course offerings. We're able to offer AP courses, and we are NCAA eligible. So that really helps with some of those athletes across the state. We get a lot of hockey players. We've had soccer players, swimmers that just want that flexibility so they can train and focus on that while knowing that they'll be eligible in college based upon our credentialing. So
Welcome to the modern era of education. Any
I
place, anytime,
know.
anywhere, with anyone. I mean, holy smokes. And you're
Mhm.
overseeing all of that. And you've already been named Minnesota Principal of the Year, National Principal of the Year, Principal of the Universe. Is that the next thing? I don't know. But by any conventional measure, you've already arrived. That's where my mind goes. Destination achieved, right? So what actually made you decide at that point in your career to go back to earn a doctorate?
That great question. I think a lot of people ask that of me just because if you've been in the program, it's intense and it's time consuming. But looking back, I was really at a point in my career. I've been in education for oh my gosh, this will be my 26th year. And just looking for that next thing. Like, what's that next thing? I didn't really want to move into central office. I really love being a principal, but like,
I
what's
can
that
tell
next?
that. We all can tell that.
Yeah. Like, what's
Definitely.
the next thing? And so I had a meeting with my superintendent, Dr. Joey Page, and he said, I really think you should pursue the doctoral program. And we talked a little bit, and he happened to have graduated from St. Mary's himself. So did some informational meetings, and then really felt like, for a couple different reasons. One, I just really felt like I could get a little bit deeper into understanding knowledge, research, communication. And secondarily, the classes are all online. All of my coursework up before my doctorate was in person. And so being the
Mm.
principal of a online high school, being able to go through coursework online, I developed such great empathy for my students, and was able to scaffold things a little bit better just to help them with their executive functioning, their time management, their organization, because those were skills I was needing to develop as a learner at night in my coursework.
So you've built kind of your name around the idea of just sustainable leadership. And I absolutely love that. And I think our viewers out there need to dig into all that you've written um, on that topic and so many other things. Not burning yourself out to prove that you're committed, right? Burnout is just an epidemic happening in both healthcare and education. I think they're just neck and neck.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say who's winning, but it's sobering. It's just sobering to understand. So on paper, adding a doctorate on top of running all of these programs that you're not managing, you're leading. That's a whole different thing. It sounds like the opposite of all of that sustainable leadership. How did you
Mhm.
square? I mean, just how do you square those two things before you even began thinking about the enrollment process?
Absolutely. I think it's setting some strong boundaries and learning as educators, and I'm sure in the health field, learning that word no, or
Hmm.
not right now, or
That
so really
range of
looking at my
motion.
priorities.
That
Yep, because I
range of
think when I
motion.
started the program, my oldest son was graduating high school. As I finished the program, my youngest son has graduated. So I went through like a pretty busy season. I learned really well how to time management, batching. So learning like I'm going to do school Monday nights, Wednesday nights, and Saturday mornings. And so I just batched my time really well to manage that. My oldest son is a college swimmer, and during swim meets, you might see me with some research articles or a computer out or things like that. So I was still trying to balance that opportunity to be a learner, to have my daytime job, and to still have a family at home. And I was so grateful. St. Mary's does some really great onboarding and throughout the coursework. I remember even going to like a retreat where we talked to people who had finished their doctorate and talked
Hmm.
about like all of a sudden you're just done. Like you don't have class 3 nights a week. You're not writing papers, and there is such a transition out of that time too, where it's like, "Oh, now I'm kind of reintroducing myself to some activities I might have paused during those 3 years to really get focused on this coursework." So, I think I think post-COVID, we all said yes to a lot more than we needed to,
Right.
and now we're just really learning to set some stronger boundaries and be okay with it. We don't have to be everything for everyone all the time because as you know, it just doesn't, and you know, with your research too, it doesn't produce things. The return on investment is very limited when you're stretching yourself that thin.
There's so much to dig into in terms of just sustainable leadership because those that are in the doing the work, you do no value to the organization unless you can't continue doing the work. So it's figuring out
Mhm.
those structures and systems. I love the word batching. I'm stealing that one. Just batching. I'm going to do this on
Yeah.
Mondays. I'm going to do this on, and then I'm going to do this with my hand because my kids were swimmers too. Go, go, go. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
wherever you happen to be, you're just yeah, you're integrated. There's no such
Mhm.
thing as work and life balance. It's the integration of all of it, right? So
Absolutely.
let's talk about
Yeah. And I would
the
say too, if people are interested in,
yeah,
oh yeah, go
no,
ahead.
the capstone instead of a dissertation. My
Yeah.
my guess is that probably stopped you in your tracks a little bit when you were choosing. Did any part of you wonder whether that made the program less rigorous than a traditional doctorate?
That great question. And I think too initially that was my thought as well. But I would challenge anyone who says it wasn't as rigorous because the work we did, the lit reviews, the conversations, the questioning, the setting up the um assessments, the tools that we use to really dig into that really helped me launch, which then once we finished that capstone, I just kept going with it.
Mm,
Where sometimes if you're in those traditional EDD, PhD programs, you've got a very capsulated case study, small group, all the forms, all the things. With my capstone, I was able to say, okay, I literally presented on Monday night, and Wednesday was the first day of school last year. So within 2 days, I took what I had learned, what I had spent all this time in doing, and implemented it in our alternative programs on
what made
Wednesday.
it the right fit for you? That the capstone project
Mhm.
specifically versus what a traditional
Yep.
dissertation track would have provided. Mine's back on the bookshelf over here. I read it. My mother read it. The chair read it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And what I'm finding too is some of the outcomes, and we talked about this offline too. With so my process or my real capstone was really looking at identity, relationship, and belonging in alternative education. And we talked about this on offline too. Is that the work in helping students be seen, heard, and valued, the research behind that, the articles, the professional development we developed within our staff, the outcomes are
Mm.
incredible. Like this year, our senior cohort, 100% grad rate in an alternative learning
Wait, you
program.
glitched you glitched
Students
there
are
you glitched there for a minute.
oh,
I thought I heard you say a 100% graduation. What?
mhm,
Wait, for
mhm.
real? In an
In an
alternative
alternative high
program?
school. Mhm,
We're gonna have to
mhm,
fact check
and
that, folks, but if that's real, that's legit.
well, and a lot of it, like we talked to is, over half of that cohort starting their senior year was not on
Yeah.
track, and so it was doing a lot of building mindset, growth mindset, pulling tools from a lot of the research I did in the capstone to help staff start to see that too. So I think just the practicality and application of this program really helped me leverage our community to see some great success with our students.
So for the leader listening who's generally just torn still, I think a lot that was a logical, persuasive, talking to me about the capstone project, but still kind of on that fence between the traditional doctorate and this one. And to be clear, we're not knocking the traditional path here.
Mhm.
It worked for me. I think it works for a lot of people out there. Plenty of great leaders have gone that route. But what would you tell them about how to think through that choice specifically?
I think it's really looking at your current trajectory and what have you accomplished thus far and where's your stretch goal. And like you mentioned, I've won awards, I've written 6 books, I do speaking. I was ready for that next challenge. And the capstone is just a different way of looking at that doctoral program. And I also like to take the path less traveled. Like this is something a
Mm.
little bit more unique. I'm really suited for executives. I loved the cohort I was in. Like you mentioned, I've won awards. I've written 6 books. I do speaking. I was ready for that next. I still stay connected with a few of them, and they are high performers in their realms and work too. So I think that iron sharpens iron. So not only did I get things out of the curriculum and my professors, but the cohort itself, that community.
Not call them out. We're going to call them up because we've had Dr. Rustin Wolf on the show, and wow, yeah, talk about one sharp cookie. You didn't originally want him as your
Correct.
advisor, but he ended up guiding your capstone. What
Yeah.
was that relationship like at the start, and what changed?
Well, Strength Finder is very disciplined, strategic, like a linear thinker is who I am. And I got to hear Dr. Wolf's interview with you, and as you can tell, very different, creative flow.
He
She
and I
sent
get
me
along
like
really, really well. Yeah,
ah.
but we would need you in a crisis.
Yes. So when I took his course, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is driving me bonkers. This is, just so abstract and the thinking." And one of the projects was, think of 100 ideas and then think of the 10 worst and narrow it down. And that ended up being part of my capstone, which was just unblocking me and thinking about things in a different way and really challenging me. So when we got to that point of looking for advisors, I'm like, I need someone who's going to challenge my thinking, who's going to help me stretch my own development and cognitive understanding of things and just be a better human. And he really did a great job of that. It was really challenging, but I also feel like I'm walking out of this with a better sense of how to support a diverse group of learners too because of it.
I think both of us know how to say "Chick sent me high" because of Dr. Wolf, right?
Yes. Yes.
Salute. So your capstone became something called Flex Days.
Yes.
Now it's running the Austin Learning Center. Walk me
Yep.
through that idea, because that's probably something that people are going to want to lean into.
Yes. So as part of, as you're working through that doctoral program, you're going to be like really looking for that really small grain of sand that you really want to focus on. And we really wanted to look at how do we bring students back into learning, because we noticed post COVID, we weren't getting kids to come back to school, engagement and attendance. And we know attendance is so important. And so throughout the course of 2 years ago, while I was in work, I would do focus groups with students, or I'd have outside people do focus groups to figure out what students really needed. And based upon that creativity course, we developed avatars. So ideal
Mm.
students. So what is an ideal student? And the teachers kind of map that out. And then the students got to map out what's their ideal teacher. And then we brought it together and we started to say, okay, now we know what we need to get to. How do we scaffold to get there? And one of the things the students were really communicating was, I need a break. Like
Yeah.
a lot of our students have housing instability. Some of our students are young parents. Some of our students are working full time to support their families. And that dilemma of, do I want to get my diploma, or do I want to support my family, or this, that, and the other? We didn't want them to have to choose anymore. And so we've set up some criteria, which is called the flex day criteria, which if you're a junior or
Mhm.
senior and you're attending at 90% your courses and passing them, Wednesdays you can learn from home. And so that gives students the flexibility of knowing, okay, on Wednesdays I can pick up an extra shift, or I can work late Tuesday nights. For some of our students who have school trauma, so things that had happened in school that make them more anxious of coming in, they get that break on Wednesdays. Some of the kids call it their social battery. I need my battery recharged. But
Yeah.
they still can come in on for help on Wednesdays, and teachers are available, but students have really enjoyed that. And we're starting to see that staff buy-in too, that we can be flexible with our learning and our student outcomes to meet their needs, not just a set of requirements that we had when we were growing up.
So for those tuning in, I should probably just make reference. There's that little QR code again. I don't know if Dr. Cabeen, if you could help me again. There it is, right there. That's the QR code. It'll give you the information. It's not a pitch. It's just straight up. You're wondering, how legit is this program? What are the logistics? Take a peek at that. So you've finished the program, and then you put your feet up on the desk, and you've been relaxing since then. No, you didn't stop there. Your sixth book, what is it?
Yeah. Sixth
The
book
drip,
came
the
out.
drip effect, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, so co-written with somebody like a big dog.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness,
Well,
it just came out. So tell me about it.
yeah, and it really did come from one article I read during my capstone, which was really talking about I don't have time to think was the name of the article. And it talked about this hustle
Mm.
culture and how uh, we just don't stop. We continue to go, go, go. And the importance of having that deep work time, kind of the Cal Newport, the deep
Right,
work, the thinking
right.
time, because otherwise we're just constantly making decisions without really thinking through. So that was the premise of starting it, because I felt like in education and probably in other organizations, we just go, 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 do, do, do. And we kind of forget about who we are in the equation of it. So the framework is pretty simple. It's pause, clarify, act, and refine. And the
Mm.
pause was really important for Jimmy and I, because as a school leader, he was a high school principal as well. You're just, okay, let's go do lunchroom supervision, homecoming,
Right,
staff
right.
meeting, da 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 da.
The
But then you
blur.
don't really think about that strategic plan and priorities. So how do you slow down? How do you clarify the work that's yours to do versus what you need to delegate to others? How do you act with confidence when you know it's not perfect? And then that
Mm.
refinement. We just kind of move on to the next thing and the next thing. Or if something doesn't go well the first time, we just scrap it. And so in the book, we really talk about the importance of earning those revisions. Like, how do we keep working and tweaking things to make them better versus just starting completely over?
What a wonderful life principle. I think you should write like 365 days of just reflections of that might be your next book. So you lead an alternative education program, which I think is next to literally impossible. One of the most demanding corners of this profession, bar none. And you don't this is what I told you when I first met you. You don't come across as burned out. You,
Mm-mm.
you you seem very vibrant. You've just got this vivid hope, and you're getting thank you cards from high schoolers. Look at that. I used to get my mailbox smashed by high schoolers when I was a principal back in the day. What are you doing differently, boss?
Well, a lot of it is really just thinking about yourself first, which is super selfish in a lot of people's minds, but really necessary. So
Mm.
I've always prescribed to that miracle morning. So I get up for myself. So the first hour of the day is journaling, gratitude, devotional, and exercise. That's my morning, my first hour of the day. I don't turn on my email. I'm not looking at my calendar. It is just really grounding me for the day before I go. And then I've really worked hard to set some boundaries around technology. So email's not on my phone. I really try to turn it off at night because if I look at an email at 8 or 9 at night, I'm just going to spin on it till the morning
Mhm,
anyway.
mhm.
So developing those self-regulation techniques has been really helpful for me. And just really, again, learning how to say no to things that aren't necessarily going to drive our organization forward. They might be nice, they might be fun, they might, make me feel good, but in the end, then I'm going to be doing the other work late at night, and I don't want to do that anymore. So
What
that's
a
kind of what I've,
discipline.
I've done.
What
Yeah.
a disciplined person. I mean, just the prudence of just the way that you step out life, and there's a lot of abundance on the other side of this disciplined life. And for
Mhm.
the senior leader out there, and you don't have to be coming from education, who
Right.
maybe assumes that the doctorate automatically means I've got to suffer for 2 years, right? I'm just in survival mode for 2 years. Is that true? Or is there a way to do this that actually kind of fits inside of a sustainable life?
Mhm. Well, and I also would say from the capstone perspective, everything I did in class was relevant to me the next day at work. So because it's so tailored to what your interest is and what your focus is, I was reading articles that I could turn around and share with staff the next day. A lot of our attendance work in our alternative program is really rippling into the district in our attendance task force too. So it didn't feel like an extra thing. It
Mm,
felt like something that was really enhancing the work I was doing during the day. And like we said at the beginning too, just being cautious about not nibbling at it. Like this work is hard. So like I said, I would batch out like 2 to 3 hours on Monday nights. That just happened to be the night where the kids were all doing activities. Saturday mornings, kind of that Daniel Pink, lark or owl. I'm a morning thinker. So Monday or Saturday mornings, I'd get up, go for my run. And then I'd come in here and work on Saturdays and do studying and give myself kind of a cutoff as 1 p.m. and then have the rest of the weekend. And I would never work on Sundays. I took Sundays completely off just to completely unplug from technology, from deep work, maybe read a book, go to a movie with my husband, walk the dogs, just really trying to make
yeah,
sure that I didn't forget who I was in the process of becoming
love
who
it.
I am now.
Love it. That's another life principle of 6/7 probably gives you more than 7/7, right? To
Mhm.
actually just take a little bit of time, yeah, and just slide it aside. So, last question, because I know you got a lot of heavy lifting and some fast running to do yet today. I want you to speak directly to the senior leader watching this right now. Somebody who has, yes, I would love to pursue that doctorate and been thinking about that for years and maybe even verbalizing it, but keeps finding, I think the smarter we get, the better excuses we come up with. Just my theory. Okay. Keeps finding reasons to wait. What do you say to him?
Do it. You're going to become better because of it. And it's almost like running a race or training for something. It's an accomplishment. It's something that no one can take away. And it's something that, like I said, has made me a better thinker, a better leader, a better communicator, and a better human because of it. Just being able to manage time and to come out of this feeling better and stronger than when I started has been just a gift in itself. And the relationships I've developed, not only with the professors, but my cohort, I've developed a stronger community that's made me a better person and
Hmm.
hopefully a better leader. We'll see. We'll see what our high schoolers say in a couple weeks when they see me again. But
The
so
proof
far,
is
the
in that pudding, definitely. Dr. Jessica Cabeen, Minnesota National Principal of the Year, author, 6 books, including her newest, The Drip Effect. Where do they find that one? The Drip Effect.
Amazon. You can
Amazon.
find it
Oh,
on
check it
Amazon
out.
website. Yeah, everything.
Executive Doctor of Education and Leadership, St. Mary's University of Minnesota. Point to that QR code one more time, just in case you want to check that out. Here's what I always look for the nuggets here. Here's what I would say. Take away from this conversation. This isn't a credential that sat on a shelf. Within days of finishing her capstone, like she said, I used my learning on a Tuesday, right? Dr. Cabeen was using it, and real students graduated because of it. This program actually just built her capacity to do her job better. So if that story connects with where you're at right now, don't let this be another week. Just what she said, do it. When you're thinking about just doing nothing, just check it out. There's that QR code again. I'm going to see if it's right over there. It's right over there. Yeah, on the screen. Right. Scan it. Go check it out. Learn more about your leadership deserves this investment. And I would say, if you're working within the public sector, the community you serve deserves you to look into this as well. So, I so appreciate having you on today, Dr. Jessica, and keep your dukes up, and we wish you very, very well in this new academic